Pouring concrete over there. Never done that before in their lives.
Joke's on you. I am the judge.
What is up, you guys? Back with another YouTube video here. My name is Jonathan Wayne.
Kind of a shit day today.
Don't record me doing this.
Oh, we're rolling, aren't we? You put that on there.
We've got to get all this shit done in 2 weeks from yesterday.
We do have, what are they called? Respirators? Yeah.
Nah, yourself. You play too much. Nah. Look at my roof. Look at my roof.
The load bearing wall.
Yeah, you kept talking about in 10 inches.
Well, today we are working on a foundation repair. I'll just walk you through it. It's a bunch of stuff. So essentially, the client, they noticed that their posts holding up the joists were rotting, and then they also had some issues with this wall. This is what happens when you buy a house that's on a super good deal. You can see on this wall, they've done some repairs that are not to code. The client is not worried about those. Also above your head, something I've never seen before, trying to prevent I guess a lateral movement of the whole house. But this is where we started. We dug these 3 feet down, put 12-inch piers, and then repaired the pad. But this is where we'll be working today. We poured the 10.5 by 10.5 footer right up against the old concrete wall. And the concern is that this wall is starting to move inwards. So we're going to build a structural pressure treated wood wall and put some plywood back there, prevent intrusion. But before we can build that wall, we need to repair this pad. And because of that sewer drainage, the pad was buckled up almost 6 inches above the regular grade of it. The whole pad is honestly in bad shape, but what we specialize in is a limited budget. The owner, they're not trying to finish the basement, they just want it not to fall down. So we'll be pouring this pad here today, and this is a duplex, so the same story on the other side, but that's what we got.
So the whole thing that we were supposed to do is we were supposed to jack up the concrete foundation that was already there, pour it in and replace it, as well as the support beam. But we made a good discovery, that there was about 17 feet of ruptured sewage pipe that we ran into. Hell, and so that's it right over there. We had to go and dig it out, including some of my own feces, and maybe had to rethink some of my dietary choices. I don't look all that fat. I do feel kind of fat, though. So, I guess it's, maybe I just need to go on a diet. What the?
Ready to pour some Creed?
Oh yeah.
How you doing?
Good morning. How you doing, Andrew?
Easily.
Send it.
So today, the edge of where the support walls in the basement meet the rest of the concrete floor, we poured out the concrete and we're straightening it out. So right now we're just waiting for it to level out and set. Then we're gonna do the same thing with this side of the basement on this duplex. Then see how the rest of that goes. Should be good.
What you doing there?
He's edging.
He's edging. He's edging. He's edging. It's so edgy.
Yeah. The boys are really on track. I got a lot of bookkeeping to catch up with, but yeah, the hard part now though is we got another guy coming on next week, so we'll have a full 4-man crew. Now we got to pull in 15 grand a month just to pay everybody. If I want to make any money, we got to pull in at least 20 grand. So yeah, a lot of work to be done, and just to make things easier on everyone, I'm going to rework the schedule so we're doing twice as much work now as before.
Y'all need Jesus.
But that's
know
all
that?
I got time for, man.
Y'all need Jesus.
Peter, what the hell are you doing?
Making some steaks.
Was that filet mignon?
Yeah.
So I see we're not getting medals.
Yep, essentially, in order for us to survive and not lose money, we've got to get all this done in 2 weeks from yesterday.
I got a gal with eyes of blue, makes my gun shoot straight and true. Going to Cripple Creek, going in a run. Going to Cripple Creek, see some fun. Going to Cripple Creek, going in a run. Going to Cripple Creek, see some fun. That old Cripple Creek flag. That old Cripple Creek flag.
Time for a new tape measure.
Looking pretty limp.
Most days.
Going to Cripple Creek, see some fun. Going to Cripple Creek, going in a run. Going to Cripple Creek, see some fun.
And now to do the same thing again.
Except we're just gonna leave it like that. It's good.
Cripple Creek, going in a run. Going to Cripple Creek, see some fun. Going to Cripple Creek, going in a run. Going to Cripple Creek, see some fun. Roll my britches up to my knees, roll my britches up to my knees, roll my britches up to my knees. I'll wade Cripple Creek when I please.
Good morning, guys. Today we're pouring a 12 by 12 footer for a load bearing wall, and so after this process is complete, we're gonna drill some holes for anchor bolts, and then we will build up from our bottom plate to our top plate, and hopefully we'll be able to support this basement and preserve it for another 50 or so years. That'd be nice. We're going to be showing you how to mix up a pre-mixed bag of concrete. Now, you do not need a mixer, but luckily we do have one to help us. It can mix about 2 to 3 90-pound bag of pre-mixed concrete. It will come with a bag of cement and also your aggregate, a nice mix of gravel and dirt. And so, yeah, let's jump right in. We've already got a little bit of water inside. There is no recipe to it. It's all about just finding the right consistency and making sure that there isn't too much water or not enough water. So, yeah, let's jump right into it. start spinning. Now already we can tell that there is way too much water in our mix, so we're going to add our second bag and go from there. I should note that today we're working downstairs indoors in a basement, and so it is always important to have your PPE. We do have respirators and safety glasses, but for this little tutorial we just decided to leave it aside. Well, they hint to it that they're gonna in one episode, and he never does. Like, he comes out from behind the fence or whatever, and the whole time he's in shot or in view, something's always covering his face. OSHA, if you are watching, don't watch anymore. Shut it off. If you look inside our concrete mixer, it is just a little rocky, so we're just going to add splashes of water as we go, because in this situation, less can be more. Thank you. Alrighty, so now the cement is at a nice consistency and ready to pour. Mostly a judgment call. As I said, there really is no recipe, rhyme, or reason.
This is 6x6 pressure treated, which we are using to replace 6x6 non-treated, which was a traditional. You can even see the saw marks on the side. This was original post when the house was built. But the reason we're replacing it is, if you look at the bottom of this, it's rotted out. And they put these posts up before there was ever a concrete pad in here at all. So the post is sitting on some rocks, concrete, and then at some point they poured a new concrete pad here. And to do the repair properly, you have to cut out 2.5 by 2.5 square, which we did, and dig 3 feet down to get well into that clay layer, which you then compact. These brackets that we're using, you can get them anywhere. They're Simpson strong ties. They're actually most commonly used for decks. The reason being is exposed to the elements. It's raised up a little over 1 inch, so moisture can't corrode and rot the bottom of that post. This is something where you want to consult a local engineer, because we got away with these with their load rating because this house is actually a duplex. So the main support walls are on the sides and the middle, and then you have these 10-foot joists which are supported by this beam, but the roof itself is supported on the perimeter walls. So we're just holding up pretty much the weight of the floor above us, maybe a couple walls added on here and there. So we can get away with this type of post, and it's much better than the previous condition. We got our braces in place, very rudimentary but effective, and we'll reuse these, of course, as we run into other projects like this. We'll keep on going. And a lot of times you'll see 2 guys doing this type of work together, which is nice, but if you can get it done with one, it's more cheaper. All right. The never-ending battle of moving the wheelbarrow of crap. When I cut this, I definitely cut it a little bit on the long side because we really want to pound it in there. In the absence of house jacks, which are very nice for this type of job, but not necessary if you're on a budget or just need to get it done.
Alright.
How's the concrete going?
It's finished.
Oh, sorry.
Right on the money cool. Very cool. Nice. Yeah, one down. There we go. Barry Bonds. Mark McGuire. Switch hitter in this bitch. Absolutely destroying this 2x4. You want to take some? Sure. Hell yeah.
Peter puts a whole new meaning in righty-righty.
So we just finished the wall. I'll walk you on through it. Essentially what we have here is a 4x6 base plate. We have two 2x6s as the top plate, and we have a 6x6 structural post. The rest of this wall, even though it is framed to be load bearing, is not designed to catch the load, because if you'll see here, it's running with the joists. So it's holding the weight of this one joist, and sure, if the wall ended up crumbling away behind it, it would hold on to some load. But the main purpose of this is to prevent a destabilized wall on the other side from intruding in this way. So any rubble, any dirt, moisture. It's got the pressure treated 5/8 plywood on the back side, and there's kind of a trick to that we'll show you on the other side of this basement. But you put the base plate and the top plate in first, and then you fix the plywood, and then you can frame it with the 2x6s. So this wall is up to code, and it's rated to carry a load. And since we already poured our footer for the bottom of it, this is probably the most solid wall in this basement right now. There's a lot going on with this basement, and I have it on very good authority from an engineer that everything will be all right. But what we see here, we've got a level post and an unlevel post, and so the wall's tapering that way. And I think it's a combination of tapering, that they poured this thing a little bit wider on the base and it narrows as it gets taller. But there's also probably a good bit of shifting. This house is the 1930s, so we're almost 100 years old now. And the logic from the engineer is that if it stands now, it'll probably still be standing in 50 years. But this is an example of an incorrect repair to do what we did over here. It was nice they left the window accessible, but there's no way that this one 2x4, especially split right there, is going to be able to carry the load if this wall fails, which it's in the process of. There's lateral cracks. When we went through this with the homeowner, they felt because these repairs were done that this was sufficient, and in my opinion, the issue that you have going on here is they didn't pour a structural footer like we did over there, and so the actual weight of the house is now compressing the pad down, and it could continue to sink even further. Furthermore, this is a traditional 2x4 on 16 center framing, and it's not sufficient to carry an excessive load like the weight of the house. So that's why we did the 2x6s. It gives you some more strength, pressure treated, and they did this blocking system to prevent the wall from pushing inwards. You don't need to do that if you frame a structural wall the right way, especially with the pressure treated plywood, because what is this going to do for rubble falling inside? And some might say this is a little bit overkill on the framing, but we try to frame it in such a way that the owner could finish this basement and not have to worry about it. So this is what I would recommend for anyone that doesn't want to spend $30,000 repairing their foundation, but is maybe a little bit handy and could spend a couple grand. This'll save your house and your life.
Perfecto. So, I need to lay the mark on
drilled through the concrete and we placed these anchors on there to make sure that this beam won't go anywhere. What's going to happen is that the walls will actually begin to bow in and the structural supports will start to buckle just because of the weather that comes in and out just from time. Winters here in Montana, just like the past 2 weeks where we would get tons of snow and then it would just melt and it's going to create all that moisture. It would cost way too much to actually have to tear down this entire wall and rebuild the concrete from the ground up. This house is so old that if we were to do that to one wall, it's going to compromise the entire structure of the house. Once we have that done, all we have to do is get this plywood in place, get these joists and studs in place so that when it starts to become old, starts to crumble, then this will actually help to support that weight.
My favorite color is black, because I have a black heart and a black soul, and I guess some people ask if I'm partially black, but maybe that counts for you, black at heart. I used to listen to a lot of Slipknot when I was in high school, and I thought emos were a bunch of and then come to find out later as an adult, I am kind of an emo, so I guess there's that too, But some more things about myself, even though I'm a 34-year-old man, guess I'm not all that grown up. So, maybe we're just a bad child. Want a prize or something? Go, shoot.